The White Sox came to town. Dallas Keuchel came to town. And guess who else came to town? The Houston Astros bats. Well, I guess the Houston Astros bats were already in town, but they scored 10 runs. And I think H-Town Wheelhouse kind of predicted this. And props to you for that. And we'll talk about this and more on today's Locked On Astros podcast, where Jose Altuve hit another home run.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, predicting 10-run outputs. Always Stros.
All right, today's episode is brought to you by Locker Room. Download the app and join us. We already technically did one. We may do another one on Friday or Saturday, but join us to get on the action. And Locker Room is changing the way we talk sports. So today's game was an interesting game. It was kind of a reunion for Dallas Keuchel, and Dallas Keuchel came in with throwing some shade at Jeff Luhnow. But he had nothing but good things to say about the Houston Astros organization. And he came in giving some hugs to Jose Altuve and several of the other players who were here. Because I know that Keuchel's qualms wasn't really with the team. It was more with Jeff Luhnow and the fact that he wouldn't sign him. And I know I've seen a lot of Astros fans saying, well, Luhnow did offer him a deal. It just wasn't what he wanted. And he still didn't get the deal he wanted and everything. But and guys, before we go on a tangent here, thank you to everybody who subscribed to our YouTube channel. It is growing. It's getting pretty close to 460 right now.
We're on the cusp of 500. So we just need you to tell your friends that aren't logged in. And Eric, we met some of our listeners, some people that maybe know us on Twitter, but maybe haven't seen the YouTube version of our show. So we'll probably be getting some new subscribers. But the more you tell people about our show, the more the word gets out. And if we get to meet y'all in person, it's always an honor. I know Eric loves meeting people. I love meeting people. It's just a great time because we get to put the face with the name and it becomes more personal. So we do this for you guys, and we do this. And the more we hang out with you guys, the more fun it is for us to get on here every day.
And you can get Locked On Astros on podcast and app Himalaya, as well as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And when you get in your car, tell your smart device to play the podcast Locked On Astros. So yeah, there's a lot of people that were at the game today, and it was a pretty good crowd. And I know a lot of Astros whatever's out there. And it was a great game, and it got off to a great start with Michael Brantley going out there and getting that 3-run homer. And I know that there is a error in the first inning by I forgot, was it the shortstop or second baseman, but it was a play that should have been made. And it was
a shortstop. He dropped the ball as he was sliding into second. I believe Altuve was sliding into second, and he just dropped the ball. And the White Sox defensively did not help their pitcher at all. They probably could have gotten out of that inning without that massive home run. Maybe it would have been a solo shot if they had turned that double play. And it would have been, instead of 10-2, it would have been 8-2, but still, the White Sox defense did not back up their pitcher, and Dylan Cease looked very, very pedestrian tonight.
Yeah, so a lot of people are saying that I need to go to every game because I'm a good luck charm. I did not go to yesterday's game, and they still won. So it's not me. I appreciate that. And if anybody wants to sponsor me going games, that's fine. And speaking of which, thank you to Belching Beaver for sponsoring us going to this game. Yeah. It was great for for everybody, for them. I know that they're no longer sponsoring us, but they wanted to say thank you for sponsoring the show for a little bit. So thank you, Belching Beaver and Paul, for doing that. So they're pretty nice seats, and we're over there by H-Town Wiggy, and definitely by the Chas McCormick corner. I did not know that they had that, and that was pretty cool. Apparently.
And that kind of has a nice ring to it, the McCormick corner. I mean, and Chas McCormick, you want to talk about having a game tonight. The defensively, dude, making that dive. We were out there in the seats when he dove for that ball, and he looked absolutely amazing because that ball, if you time it, if he dives too soon or too late, there's no way he gets that ball. It was great.
Yeah, and I know I joked about it on Twitter, but it's like George Springer because it's the same type of play, the Superman catch that George Springer used to make. And I know that Springer has 2 home runs and is limited playing time with the Blue Jays, but it just was the same kind of thing like we saw him make. And what Chas McCormick has 8 home runs this year. And I know he didn't have a great day at the plate today, but his OPS is still 815. At Brantley, he only had 1 hit, but that was a great hit. Altuve, this is 3 straight games with a homer. And we need to make a correction from last night's show. Do you want to go and do that correction from last night's show?
Yes. So I had talked about Jose Altuve was the second Astro to hit a walk-off grand slam and a homer the next day. And what I had meant to say was he was the second Astro to hit a walk-off home run, because when George Springer did it in 2017, April 5th and 6th, he didn't hit a grand slam, but he did hit a walk-off home run and then a leadoff homer the next day. But Altuve was the first major league player to hit a grand slam for a walk-off and lead the next day, lead off with the home run. So no one's ever done that in major league history. So that's great.
Yes, I know that you have pointed out. I going back and looking at, some people were pointing out in chat yesterday, but there's a lot going on in yesterday's show, and then we didn't realize the whole Ace of Spader stuff, and we had to go back and throw that in, and then he's all retracted that. He's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that," and so I don't really want to go too much into that. We're going to talk about what Roy Oswalt had to say about this whole situation a little bit later, but let's talk about Abraham Toro a little bit. This is a guy who was called up when Kyle Tucker hit the IL, or I guess he didn't hit the IL. He was put on the health and safety protocol.
No, I thought he was brought up because of Bregman.
No, Garrett Stubbs was brought up because of Bregman.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, but yeah, Toro was hitting the cover off the ball in Sugarland, and so. AAA pitching is AAA pitching. It's almost major league pitching, but it's not quite. And so you would hope that translates here. And he literally came into the game, I think his average was 091. It's 188. I mean, his OPS is 610 in the short stint that he has. And he went 2 for 4 tonight and hit a home run. I mean, he looked good. Gosh, the guy had 4 RBI, and he played a great third base. And so Abraham Toro could be the stopgap between now and when Bregman comes back. And if Bregman's out 4 to 6 weeks with this quad injury, and Toro is lighting the world on fire with his bat and playing a really good defensive third base, there might not be a big drop off there. He's not Alex Bregman, but Alex Bregman wasn't well at the plate when he left, and it was probably his quad. And I had kind of mentioned that when you have that hamstring injury, you're putting stress on other muscles that you don't normally, and that's probably where the quad injury came from, was a byproduct of the hamstring issues. So it was great. And yeah, I mean, look at this lineup, Eric. Toro, okay, McCormick. Then you had, you have Straw. We know Straw's kind of a mainstay. Castro. I mean, and then later in the game, you brought in Garcia, you brought in Jones. So, I mean, you have a lot of guys in there that aren't the big time names, and they're still banging out 10 runs.
I guess you can say that they're still fully loaded, even though that there's some people have hit the IL. So let's talk a little bit about fully loaded chew.
Yeah, so today's episode is brought to you by Fully Loaded Chew. Fully Loaded Chew is tobacco-free, long cut pouches that give you the same pack, dip, spit, and buzz you're used to, but without tobacco. Available in 9 flavors, Fully Loaded Chew is made with all food-grade ingredients and tobacco-free nicotine, the purest form of nicotine available. I mean, I have friends of mine who dip and stuff, and so they've actually tried other products. They've actually tried Fully Loaded Chew, and there's something different about this because it's helped them transition from tobacco products to tobaccoless products, and the taste and feels just like traditional smokeless products, which made this transition easy in the past. It's the only moist nicotine pouch on the market. All of the nicotine pouches are dry white pouches. Nothing dips, spits, and packs like Fully Loaded. Fully Loaded Chew is offering Locked On Team listeners a special offer right now. You can try a can for just $1. That's right, $1. Go to fullyloadedchew.com. Use the promo code Locked On, just $1, and free shipping if you use a promo code Locked On at checkout. The next time you go for a dip, make it Fully Loaded Chew at fullyloadedchew.com.
All right, so Toro went in there and got 2 hits. He had that big, he had that double earlier, the 2-run double. Then he had the 2-run homer. That 2-run homer, it was just like everybody's like, "Where the F is Toro?" Because that's just basically where everybody was going back to the Justin Verlander no-hitter days. And when he's hitting and he's healthy, this guy can be one of those dynamic bats off the bench. So it's good to kind of see him going. Everything like that. So Straw didn't look so great. It looked like he was trying to get a little bit homer happy. So we'll have to see what happens here. But Jason Castro had 2 walks. But the offense, outside of maybe a couple guys, they still scored 10 runs off of 8 hits. They scored 3 runs in the first, 4 runs in the fourth, and then 1 in the 6th inning, 2 runs in the 7th inning. So, but the Astros just kept on getting to Dylan Cease, and this is a guy who was supposed to be one of the White Sox up and coming young pitchers. So that was pretty good effort. And
I guess you can say Dylan ceased to pitch well tonight. You see what I did there?
Okay.
Sorry, I've been waiting all game to say that. I thought of that in the 4th inning, and so I had to remember it. So, yeah, there you go. There's my pun for the night. You like that?
All right, so let's switch to Jose Urquidy. He looked pretty good out there. He only had that 1 walk. He has a 3.65 ERA. He had 5 strikeouts, 7 innings. He just looked pretty dominant out there. He looked good. He just looks like he always does. So.
Well, and I mean, now Jose Urquidy has struggled a little bit more so than the other Astros starters in his last 2 or 3 starts. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been great. And he looked better tonight. He looked like he had probably been working on some stuff. And this is a powerful lineup. This is a lineup that boasts Abreu, seems to always be in the MVP talk. Anderson, who's become quite the major league player, Yoan Moncada, and I mean, they've got a lineup, and there's a reason why the White Sox are in the position they're in. But with this win tonight, Eric, the Astros now have a run differential of 101 plus runs, and they now, I'm just making sure, they now lead the major leagues in run differential.
Yes, the White Sox have a plus 99, the Dodgers have a plus 93, the Giants have a plus 86, and the Rays have a plus 83.
I know. Oakland's only plus 30.
A's, the freaking A's, who are still 2 games ahead of us. They're off tonight, but they take on the dreaded, the fearful, the I can't grip the baseball anymore.
The
Yankees tomorrow.
The Yankees have won 3 in a row, and I'm not saying I'm cheering for the Yankees, but I'm cheering for the Yankees to sweep the Oakland A's. I would love for that to happen, and the Astros to take care of business against the White Sox. We could, by the end of the White Sox series, be talking about the Astros either tied for first or going back on top.
Yeah. So the White Sox are a great team. So if the Astros win this series, then this will, and then they play a whole bunch of bad teams. I know I'm going to be out next week, so I'm going to church camp with my son. So I know Brett's going to be carrying the torch, and he's going to have a whole bunch of guests. I know those of y'all who go back to my Talking Stros days, I think Brandon Del Castillo is going to be one of my guests, one of your guests. And you want to announce one of your big guests on the Thursday show?
Yes. On Thursday, we will have Ben Verlander. Ben Verlander's former, minor league player, obviously, last name Verlander. I don't need to give you any other hints. He has a new podcast called Flipping Bats. He is a contributor with Fox MLB. And so I'm excited to have him on. Been working on him getting on the show. We also have another guy, Trevor Howard, the New York kid, college student who's up in New York, from upstate New York, but loves the Astros, has a great voice, does a great job. I'm trying to get a couple others to fill those spots, but it's going to be a good week. It's going to be a fun week, and we'll definitely miss having you here, and I'll make sure we do a great job and hold it down.
All right, so the Astros, I don't know if this is updated, but per Fangraphs, the Astros lead the league in offense, in the WAR with 16.0. Their WRC plus, they lead the league with a 123. Their BABIP, I think they're still third with a 309. The White Sox still have the 317. So the Astros are still up there. Go ahead.
Now that's batting average with balls in play, I believe. Right. So just some people may not know what BABIP means.
Right.
It's not a Naughty by Nature song from the 90s. You down with BABIP? Yeah, you know me. It's not one of those things.
But my favorite one is still the strikeout percentage, 18.4%. And the next best team is the Royals, who are at 22 points. At the 22%. Then you have the Padres at 22.1%. Then the Blue Jays at 22.2%. So the Astros are doing this without striking out. They have the high batting average. They're scoring runs. They have the highest run differential. This team is legit. And if the starting pitching is starting to take shape, and now your bullpen is starting to settle down, this team can be a legit playoff contender.
Yeah, and Eric, I think they are. I mean, right now, obviously, we're in second place, and it is the beginning of June, or it's, I guess, the middle of June already. Good Lord, time flies when you're having fun. But at what point do we, do we have to wait till we get to August to talk about like playoffs? Here's the cool thing that I realized on the schedule: the last 2 weeks, we play Oakland, I think 6 or 8 times. We play them. Like, we legitimately could be shooting for the AL West division title against Oakland at the end of the season. It's going to be an exciting end of the regular season. And I really think I would be shocked if this team missed the playoffs this year because of how powerful this lineup is.
All right, so World Traveler says, I can't believe these baseball players blaming MLB for their injuries. So we're supposed to feel sorry for Glass now because that he got hurt because he stopped cheating. So let's go and talk about what Royal had to say. So he said something about what did he say about using the seams to actually?
Basically, Roy Oswalt said, if you can't grip a baseball, that's a personal problem. Now, well, I do agree with Roy Oswalt. I don't know that the ball was changing shape every year when Roy Oswalt played.
That's true.
I don't know that they had the analytics, and I know they didn't have the analytics that they have today with the hitting and the hitting mechanics. And so the hitters, I think, have a little bit more information on the pitchers. But Roy Oswalt does have a point, and he said there are rules set in place. You don't change the rules because they don't fit you. Like, you don't get to change the game because you choose to do something that's outside of the rules. The counter to that is pitchers have been doing this for a long time, and MLB just now was deciding to, change things. Yes, and I hope they hammer Rondon. I do.
I was actually laughing at this one.
What's that? Great bullpen. Just need 8-run leads. Hey, get this, like a month ago, we were like, we need a 20-run lead, right? I mean, So the glass can be half empty or half full. I think it's half full with this offense. But get this, I think the more consistency you see from the offense producing, the less pressure that the bullpen does have. And you want the bullpen to be worked, but you don't want them to be overworked. And if these starters can go 7, 8 innings. I mean, Urquidy staying in there was great. I loved it.
Right.
Then they brought Belak in. And, Ralph Garza Jr., like you had kind of mentioned at the game, well, this is kind of garbage time. But he went in, and what did he do? He ended the game.
Right.
And so that's a confidence booster. Because Ralph Garza Jr. doesn't exactly like, oh, Ralph Garza Jr. is coming in, we're going to get the close, we're going to end the game. I mean, but he's young and he doesn't have the experience and he needs it.
Before we stray too much away from Roy Oswalt, here's his other quote. He says, "Hey, I have a crazy idea to fix the cheating going on in MLB. Follow the rules that were written way before these players dreamed of playing. I know that sounds crazy. Shaking my head." So, yeah, just follow the rules and do what you're supposed to do. Stop whining. I can't believe that Garrett Cole, after pitching 8 innings the other day, he got the win. He only allowed, I think he allowed maybe 1 or 2 runs. He struck out 4 batters, but he just sounded like he was crying. And he's like, "Well, you won't let me do this. And I only got 4 strikeouts instead of 14 strikeouts." And like, well, learn how to pitch. It's your job to adjust. If I have a bad lesson in first period, what do I have to do? I have to adjust to it. And yes, it sucks. In the middle of the year, COVID hits. What did us teachers have to do? We had to adjust.
That's right. That's a great analogy. Maybe it's because Garrett Cole doesn't have a wealth of information like we do, like with wealthfront.com. Investing can be complicated, Eric, but whether you're a beginner or you've been investing for years, Wealthfront makes it easy. They have the right tools for every portfolio. You got stonks, memes, rocket ships. Day trading can be a lot of fun, but if you want your long-term wealth to grow and take it to the moon, then you need to open up a Wealthfront investment account today. Wealthfront can create a portfolio of globally diversified, low-cost index fund personalized just for you in minutes. No manual trades, no picking stocks, no watching the stock market every day. They automatically handle all the investing based on preferences that you control. Wealthfront can even help you lower the taxes you pay as you invest. For the average client, their tax loss harvesting can more than cover the low annual 0.25% advisory fee. Best of all, it's automatic. Wealthfront is trusted with over $20 billion in assets, and you can get your first $5,000 managed when going to wealthfront.com/LockedOnMLB. All you need is $500 to get started today. Grow your wealth the easy way and let Wealthfront do the work for you. To get your first $5,000 managed for free for life, go to wealthfront.com/LockedOnMLB. That's WEALTHFRONT.com/LockedOnMLB to start growing your savings today. Go to wealthfront.com/LockedOnMLB to start growing today.
All right. So, we had a very early dinner because we went to the Astros game. So I'm kind of a little hungry. I wish I had a Built Bar right now.
Yeah, Built Bars are great. Built Bars are delicious. I mean, even at 11:34 p.m. at night, Built Bars are not bad for you. Like, you won't eat that and wake up in the morning feeling hungry. Why? Because they are great for the healthy conscious guy or girl, whether you want to lose or maintain weight. They have 9 delicious flavors: cherry, raspberry, mint brownie, peanut butter brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel. The sky's the limit. I mean, I had birthday cake today. It was phenomenal on my break. 17 grams of protein, 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and only 4 grams of net carbs. That's right. Go today and just find whatever flavor you want, whatever you desire. Go to BuiltBar.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 and you'll get 15% off your first order. Use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at BuiltBar.com.
All right, so before we talk about Dallas Keuchel, let's go and look at tomorrow's matchup. It's going to be Carlos Rondon versus Luis Garcia. We already kind of talked about this. I know Rondon's already kind of run his mouth a little bit, and we don't know if that's why Ryan Spader kind of went off his track a little bit, and I don't know why he backtracked everything. I don't really want to go into that because I just don't want to go into all that, but now it's for Rondon to kind of put up or shut up. He went out and kind of said some things about the Astros. Now he needs to come out and he
needs to walk his talk. Basically,
right.
He talks a big game. That's great. I can talk a big game. I can go out there on a basketball court and talk a game. I can talk smack anywhere, right? But the bottom line is, oh wow, okay. Eric looks like Justin Timberlake. Okay, I'm not following y'all's conversation in chat, but okay, well, cool. He does look like a guy in a boy band. I'll say that. I'm joking. Carlos Rondon. Carlos Rendon, I am sorry, but I believe pride comes before the fall. That's what my mom always told me. And when you get a little too high on the hog, somebody knocks you down. And this offense just tied an MLB record, 10 straight games with 2 home runs or more by hitting the 3 home runs tonight. This offense is absolutely on fire. So you can bring a knife to a gunfight and think that you have a chance, but I expect the Astros to come out tomorrow night and actually continue to hit the cover off the ball against Carlos Rendon.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. And Luis Garcia has been one of the Astros' best pitchers this year. And even though he didn't have his best game the last time out, the Astros have enough faith in him to leave him in the rotation for now. So we'll see what happens. Jake Odorizzi pitched great out of the bullpen, but we'll have to see what happens. I know they're going for a 6-man rotation for now. I know he's going to take when we play the Orioles next week, when you'll be kind of going solo with a bunch of guests, he'll be pitching against the Orioles, but we'll see what happens there. But this is just going to be an interesting little stretch here, and the Astros are kind of, in terms of ERA in terms of the league. Let's see where they are. They are kind of at the 20th. They're 20th with a 3.79. Oh, wait, sorry, that's from the bottom. Let me look from the top.
Oh, so, you flipped it.
Yeah, sorry. They're 11th with a 3.79 ERA. I was like, that sounds kind of bad, but yeah. So they're 11th with a 3.79 ERA. So that's not bad in terms of WAR. Their pitching staff is, where are they? They're 20th. They're 21st with a 4.6 WAR. So I think this team kind of rides on offense, obviously, but the starting pitching has been a lot better, but the bullpen is coming around a little bit. So knock on wood.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about this in regards to the run differential. The run differential doesn't just say something about the offense. It also says a lot about the pitching, because you can't have, if your pitchers are giving up 7 runs and you're scoring 8 runs, the run differential is only plus or minus 1, right? So this is a testament to the overall work. And I think sometimes as a pitching staff, we do get hung up, and not as a pitching staff, as a commentator, I get hung up on the small micro parts of the game. The guy that comes in and gives up 3 hits and a run and 2 walks when he's in there for a short time. But right. We look at the whole body of work. Being 11th in the league for ERA is not terrible. Maybe next week,
considering no Justin Verlander.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, So look at what you have. This isn't like a lineup of pitching that you go, this is a World Series pitching staff, right? But they're doing enough for that run differential to grow. The only way the run differential grows is not just by scoring runs, but also by not allowing the runs. And that is massive. And that is a huge thing where this team, if Carlos Correa is saying this is a lot like 17 and 19, that says something about this team. And think about the young players, Eric. Like, just imagine you being Chas McCormick or Miles Straw or one of these young guys, Abraham Toro, and you hear Carlos Correa saying, this feels a lot like those championship teams. I mean, I'm going to go out there and play heck of a game because Carlos Correa thinks that I'm playing at a championship level. And that is infectious. And that's another reason why I think we got to figure out how to sign this guy, man. How do you let this guy get out? He's just got so much good leadership qualities.
All right, so let's go and flip the switch a little bit. Let's take a moment to appreciate Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve has 16 home runs through the first 57 games. His career high is 31. He is on pace to break this. Wow. So without trash cans, without vibrating Band-Aids or buzzers or whatever.
Or authentication stickers.
Whatever it is. So Dusty Baker said on Jose Altuve, he continues to amaze us, hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And Michael Brantley said, we're playing great baseball. It's fun to be part of. So Jose Altuve has hit a home run in 3 straight games. This guy is doing what a guy his size should not be doing. And it's just amazing how good this guy is. And Astros fans should appreciate being able to watch this. And MLB fans across baseball should appreciate this instead of booing him. And instead of saying F Altuve, you should be saying cheer Altuve.
So here's the thing. And we actually talked about this in the game. Y'all need to look up Jose Altuve, a baseball story or something like that. Look up Jose Altuve documentary, Astros documentary. It's a 45-minute film that they made back in 2015, I believe. It's a phenomenal look into Jose Altuve's life. And I challenge anybody that happens to listen to this that's not an Astros fan and you hate Altuve, go watch that documentary. It will change your mind forever. And here's the thing. Maybe one day we need to dedicate a show about talking about Biggio and Altuve, who's their hitter. I know Biggio has 3,000 hits, but I don't ever remember Biggio having this many successful seasons at the plate as with as many hits as Altuve. It doesn't take anything away from Biggio. Biggio is still great, Mr. 300, Hall of Famer, all that stuff. But there are stats in this guy's stat line that you can't ignore, that when he gets to the Hall of Fame eligibility, that you keep him out just because you think he was on a team that cheated when he didn't take part in it. You see what I'm saying? And so what he's doing this year. So here's the thing, Eric, let me ask you this. Do you think Altuve can hit 40 home runs this year? I think he can.
Yes, but we don't want him to get too pool happy, because remember that one when he went on that, didn't he go on like a 10-game homer streak one year, and then he kind of just started he changed his swing because he was just.
But what I'm saying is, like, he's hitting for power right now.
Yeah.
He's not swinging outside of himself. I mean,
right.
He hit a ball that was like 0.83 inches or 0.83 feet or whatever off the ground. Because like you said, at 16, I mean, he's on pace, dude. 31 was his best year in 2019. Before that, it was 24 2 years in a row. I think he easily gets to 35, Eric.
All right, so yes, a lot of people are asking about Dallas Keuchel. Will people cheer for Dallas Keuchel on Sunday? Yes, they already cheered for him.
They cheered for him tonight.
Yeah, he had a tribute video today, and fans were up on their feet. He had only like a minute and a half video. I think that's all it was, and it had just a clean-shaven Dallas Keuchel on there. It had a couple of the highlights. It had him signing autographs for some of the Astros fans, and it was touching. Then he came out and did the whole tap, the hat tip, and all the Astros fans were like cheering for him, and because he was a big part of the World Series team. And what Rondon does not understand is that his teammate was on that team that he's calling out, and he knew. I know the pitchers are going to say, "Well, we didn't know about the trash can scheme." Yes, y'all did. I'm sure y'all did, but. But he said that on facing Dallas Keuchel, Lance McCullers, he said it's gonna be a little weird. I love Lance. He's like my son. Lance is a great dude. I'm glad he's here for a lot more years. He's really, really talented.
He said he's like my son.
Yeah.
Then Dallas Keuchel 50 and we don't know it? I'd be like, he's like a brother to me. Like, he's like my son. He's like Brent Strom's age and we don't know it.
I'm not going to say that, but and Dallas Keuchel said there was no communication and no personal relationship at the slightest with Jeff Luhnow during the most of his Astros tenure. I played this game very hard, and I just wanted a little bit of respect, and I don't think that was given for a lot of the guys. So that's what he had to say about that. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, so it was an excellent game. We had a great time tonight. If y'all haven't had a chance to get out to Minute Maid Park, go do that. It's fun. It's exciting, even in the weekday games. So, I expect the Astros to keep this train rolling. I don't see any reason to think that they're going to pull back now. I mean, full steam ahead. Let's go take this. Heck, let's sweep the series.
They have not done a Mike Fiers tribute video, and Mike Fiers has come back to Houston.
They gave him his ring when he was with the Tigers.
Well, yeah, they've already done that, but they're not going to do that again. Like that was the next year, but
they're going to show like a video with like the old. No, listen, they're going to show a video with the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like from the 90s. You know their trainer Splinter. They're going to show that guy, and they're going to show all these rats, Ratatouille, and maybe that.
All right. Andy wants to know if there's any chance for a sweep. First, gut reaction, yes or no?
Hell yes.
I'm going to say my gut reaction is no. I think the Astros win 3 out of 4, but if they get a sweep, I'll go for it.
If the White Sox look like they did tonight in the next 3 games, there's no way the Astros lose a single game to the White Sox, and they take it to them.
True. But I think if there's any game the Astros are likely to lose, I would have to say it's going to be Sunday's game. Why? Because Dallas Keuchel is going to come out here and want to show him who daddy is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we take it to Keuchel. I think we take it to him. I'm going to say sweep right now. I'm going to be bold. I predicted the 10-run output. I predict they get 8 runs tomorrow night, and basically win 8-2.
A's have 42 wins. The Astros have 40 wins. Who would have thought the A's would have this many wins? I don't think I would have either. So it's just weird. So guys, you've been listening to Locked On Astros podcast. Get all the sports news you need in another 20 minutes with the Locked On Today podcast. Host Peter Bukowski updates you with all the latest news in every major sport with the help of our local experts. Follow the Locked On Today podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts, and we will be back. Well, I guess Brett will be back next week solo with Brandon Del Castillo and other guests. Go Stros, and we'll see you next week.